The lakes and forests of central Switzerland were spread out beneath her, and far in the distance the snow-covered Alps glittered in the winter sun. Although she'd lived in Switzerland for more than 10 years, the beauty of the landscape still took her breath away. Below her, nestling in a clearing in the forest, she could see their farmhouse, and beyond it, the village of Wildenwil, where her 2 younger children, Mark and Lara, were at school. When she'd first arrived in Switzerland, Wildenwil had been a sleepy farming village, but now there were new houses being built in every direction. Because it was so close to the town of Zug, a magnet for international business because of its low taxes, the village was now becoming popular with foreigners too. She and Julian had been the only non-Swiss in the village when they'd first arrived. That had been one of its attractions, allowing her to hide away in a different country and culture, far away from the horrors of the past. Her integration had been made easier because she could already speak German, and she'd quickly mastered the tricky local dialect. She walked along the ridge with Bella padding beside her, the light breeze blowing through her hair. After a few hundred yards, they reached a wooden bridge over a torrent of water crashing down the cliffs. She put Bella on her lead. The path was narrow and dangerous here, and Bella's eyesight wasn't as good as it had been. Leaning over the balustrade, she saw the dramatic waterfall, and in the shadows beside it, the creepy outline of the Grand Wildenbach Hotel. It was a 4-storey Gothic building with turrets, arches and enclosed balconies. It had once been a famous stop on the European Grand Tour, visited by aristocrats and literary figures, but had long been abandoned and fallen into disrepair. Village gossip said it had been bought earlier in the year and was being extensively renovated. But as it was hidden behind the high wall and tall trees of the overgrown grounds, it was difficult to know what was going on. Olivia looked at her watch. She'd have to hurry to get back for lunch. There were no school dinners for primary-age children in her village, so Mark and Lara came home for lunch every day. Although it was so different from what she'd been used to in Scotland, she now loved having her children home for the long lunch break, so they could eat together and have a chat before afternoon school. Once again, she and Bella were alone in the funicular as it rocked down to the foot of the crags, but as she was driving home, she caught sight of a car in her rear-view mirror, the same one as before. Her heart pounding, she slowed down, trying to identify the driver, but could see nothing but a dark silhouette. Who could be following her? Despite the bright sunshine, the familiar landscape became sinister. She drove to the farmhouse as quickly as she could, ran into the kitchen, slammed the door behind her, and leant against it, her breath coming in painful gasps. When her pulse rate had returned to normal, she heated the spaghetti for lunch. Mark and Lara would be back soon, so she had to calm herself. Julian went to the Kantonsschule, the high school in Zug, where Christian was head of the English department, so they ate lunch in the cafeteria there. The door slammed as Mark and Lara rushed in, throwing their school bags down and declaring they were starving. Listening to their happy chatter as they ate, Olivia pushed thoughts of the note and car to the back of her mind, as everything seemed so normal. After lunch, Rito Kolb, the youngest of the 5 sons from the farm up the road, called in for Mark, and a few minutes later Sandra, Rito's little sister, came for Lara. As usual, Olivia waved as they set off down the lane and forced herself to remain calm. Switzerland was safe, and it was normal for young children to walk to school without adults. Olivia was glad Sandra called for Lara every morning and after lunch. She was a year older than Lara and much taller and sturdier. As the youngest of a large farming family, Sandra had to be able to look after herself. Although she was only 8, she helped on the farm and could often be seen bringing cows in from the meadow or helping to gather the cut grass on the steep mountain slopes. Lara seemed much younger than Sandra, small and slight like Olivia, and she still enjoyed playing with her toys. Olivia went back into the house and after clearing the lunch things made some Schinkengipfeli, the typically Swiss ham pastries everybody loved. Bella was lying in front of the wood-burning stove, curled up with Shadow, the long-haired grey cat, who'd walked into their home one evening and never left, always sleeping in the warmest corner of the house. When her pastries were in the oven, Olivia sat at the kitchen door in the winter sunshine with her Kindle,